indeed. Great to be here with you guys today. The WNBA All-Star rosters are set. Caitlin Clark taking her teammates we knew, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell. She's also taken Sabrina Ionescu and the pink-haired player known as A'ja Wilson. That's right. Caitlin Clark and A'ja Wilson on the same team. Chelsea Gray shaking in her boots.
The WNBA All-Star draft was fun between Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, the team captains, picking the players, picking the rosters. But the most interesting aspect was the coach swap, because Clark traded Cheryl Reeve, who was the coach of her team, or was to be the coach of her team, to Collier for Sandy Brondello, the coach of the New York Liberty.
Caitlin Clark didn't just make history at the WNBA All-Star draft, she rewrote the rules. While fans were glued to their screens expecting a playful team selection, Clark dropped a bomb so bold, so unexpected, it left everyone scrambling to catch up. This wasn't a player trade. This wasn't a lineup shuffle. Caitlin Clark straight up traded her all-star coach, Cheryl Reeve, on national television. No warning, no apologies, just cold, calculated execution. And the best part? She did it with the most savage line of the summer. "I don't know if this is in the rules. I don't really care." At that moment, it became crystal clear. Clark is done playing nice. She's here to control her narrative, shut down the haters, and send a message to the entire league. You don't get to diminish the biggest star in the WNBA and expect to coach her. Not anymore.
Lastly, the biggest news of the night was the fact that Caitlin Clark and Napheesa Collier, they traded their coaches. They didn't trade any players in the draft. They traded their coaches, and a lot of people think they know why. So last year, Coach Cheryl Reeve had a few things to say about Caitlin Clark on Twitter. This was one of the exchanges. Cheryl Reeve tweeted about a preseason game and how the Lynx weren't going to be playing, and that the Lynx game, wasn't going to be televised. And so somebody commented, they said, "Is there a reason why it's not being shown?" And someone else commented, and they said, "Because they only care about Caitlin." And Cheryl Reeve tweeted, and she said that part. So she was replying to that, obviously insinuating something about Caitlin. A lot of people felt like this was very unprofessional for a coach to be engaging in the fan commentary, and especially calling out one single player that has nothing to do with the reason why the Lynx game was not televised, why their preseason game wasn't on television. That has nothing to do.
Originally, the All-Star game was supposed to be simple. Clark and Napheesa Collier were named team captains. They'd each pick their rosters. Each would be assigned a coach. Clark got Cheryl Reeve, head coach of the Minnesota Lynx, Team USA Olympic coach, and one of the WNBA's most decorated figures. Napheesa got Sandy Brondello, New York Liberty coach and playoff tactician. Then Clark turned the whole thing upside down. During the live ESPN broadcast, she stared across the stage at Collier and said the unthinkable, "I think we've already discussed. We are going to trade coaches." You could almost hear the producers scrambling in the control room. The analysts were stunned. The fans erupted. Caitlin Clark had just fired her coach on live TV. And not just any coach, the one who had been subtly undermining her for months.
Yo, this is the first time I've ever seen this, man. The first time out of all the times I've seen where two star players are picking up players. They asked for a trade, or the median person asked for a trade, and they're talking about trading the coach.
This wasn't just about game strategy, this was about payback. Cheryl Reeve has been quietly taking digs at Clark ever since she entered the league. During the height of Clark Mania, while Clark was smashing attendance records, boosting WNBA ratings by 300%, and turning every Fever game into a sellout event, Cheryl tweeted this, 12 teams, the W is more than one player. Subtle, passive-aggressive, and clearly targeted. Then came the Olympic snub. Clark left off Team USA's roster despite being the most popular basketball player on earth. And who was the head coach of Team USA? That's right, Cheryl Reeve. Asked to comment, Reeve dodged. She declined to discuss roster decisions, a silence that spoke volumes. So when Caitlin Clark got the rare chance to pick her own coach, she chose not to be polite. She chose power.
I cannot believe these teams are absolutely hilarious. The team is hilarious. And not only that, she traded her coach. Her coach. So she was originally meant to play for Cheryl Reeve. You guys don't know who Cheryl Reeve? She was the Team USA coach who basically has said a bunch of negative things on social media about Caitlin Clark, who got who had like a bad write-up in Christine Brennan's book, then deleted all the tweets and she deleted a bunch of tweets, said the tweets never existed in the first place.
Make no mistake, this wasn't an emotional reaction. This was a calculated decision. Caitlin Clark didn't just remove Reev, she upgraded. Big time. She brought in Sandy Brondello, a championship-caliber coach who led the Liberty to back-to-back WNBA Finals appearances, a proven winner, a respected leader, a coach who actually wants to build up her players, not tear them down in the media. Brondello's reaction: "My son texted me and said, 'Mom, you got traded. I thought it was fun.'" That's the kind of energy Clark wants. Fun, positive, competitive. No backhanded tweets, no ego games, just basketball excellence.
I'm going on vibes. Ooh. We're picking whatever comes to mind. We're just having fun. My team's going to be fun. That's all that matters. You get to be in front of the home crowd in Indianapolis, so.
And she didn't stop at the coach. Caitlin Clark went full general manager and assembled a team that looks like an Avengers squad. Her starting five: Caitlin Clark at point guard, Sabrina Ionescu at shooting guard, Setu Sabali at small forward, Aaliyah Boston at power forward, Aja Wilson at center. That lineup alone could hang banners, but her bench also stacked. Kelsey Mitchell, her Fever teammate and three-point sniper, Gabby Williams, one of the best defenders in the league, Jackie Young, a finals MVP caliber veteran, Sonia Citron, a rising star, Kayla Thornton, a high-motor Valkyries forward, Kiki Iriafen, the athletic rookie phenom. And just to make sure her ride-or-die teammates felt the love, Clark used her first overall pick on Aaliyah Boston and her first reserve pick on Kelsey Mitchell. That's loyalty. That's leadership.
But let's get straight into it. We got Team Clark going up against Team Collier in the WNBA All-Star game. Nafisa Collier takes Brianna Stewart with her first pick. Caitlin Clark takes Aaliyah Boston with her first pick. Caitlin Clark getting Sabrina Ionescu, getting Aja Wilson, getting Setu Sabali. Yeah, it's a pretty lethal starting lineup, if I can say so myself.
Twitter, Threads, YouTube, Reddit, TikTok, all of it exploded. Fans didn't just notice the move, they celebrated it. Caitlin Clark just fired Cheryl Reeve on ESPN. I'm here for it. Goodbye, Cheryl. You tried to play politics, now you got played. Hashtags like hashtag Clark Control, hashtag Free Smoke, and Gangster Clark trended within hours. Some fans even gave her a new nickname, Gangster Clark, because apparently, whatever Gangster Clark wants, Gangster Clark gets.
Lads, we gotta talk about something right here. We have got to talk about something. Caitlin Clark just made the funniest All-Star selections ever. She just picked her friends. She made sure she picked no ops, as people like to call them. She made sure there were no ops on her team. If she's played with a player before, like Sonia Citron, she picked her. Gabby Williams, she picked nobody that's tweeted a negative thing about her. She's picked nobody that has said a negative thing about her in the media. She picked none of her rivals, other than Aja Wilson, because as Ken Swift's graphic says, Team Caitlin, no ops allowed, except Aja. We ain't stupid. Aja's that good. Yeah, you're picking Aja Wilson.
Cheryl Reeve probably thought she could coast into the All-Star game, coach the league's biggest star, bask in the spotlight, maybe even mend fences. Instead, she got replaced, live, on air, in front of millions. You could see the tension in her body language, the forced smile, the clenched jaw, a veteran coach outmaneuvered by a 22-year-old superstar who just seized control of the moment and never looked back. And to make things even worse, Clark upgraded to a coach with a better record, a better finals resume, and a better relationship with her players. That's not just a trade, that's a flex.
Of course, Reev is Collier's head coach for the Minnesota Lynx, so that makes sense. But the drama is going to come from Reev having previously been critical on social media about the amount of attention Clark received relative to the rest of the league, not to mention being the coach of Team USA that Caitlin Clark was so famously snubbed from.
This was never just about one game. This was about the future of the UNBA. Caitlin Clark is sick of the shade, the politics, the gatekeeping. She's not here to wait her turn or play by old school rules. She's here to win, and she'll do it on her own terms. The coach trade sent a clear message. I won't be coached by someone who doesn't respect me. That kind of accountability, unheard of. Most rookies wouldn't dare challenge a coach like Cheryl Reeve. Clark? She fired her without flinching. She chose excellence over ego. She chose Sandy Brondello over the system, and she proved, once again, that she's the most powerful player in the league.
Since then, you guys, she's gotten a lot of backlash and she did delete that tweet, but I feel like Caitlyn might have been keeping receipts and she saw that. Also, it is good to note that Cheryl Reeve was the head coach of Team USA last year, and of course, they did not select Caitlin Clark. They did not bring her to the Olympics. And so with all of that, Caitlyn said, you know what? Why don't we trade coaches, Fee? You can have your own coach and I'll take Sandy. And Fee was okay with that. It seemed like something they agreed upon before the draft, but that was a little juicy moment, and I'm glad it happened. A lot of fans are glad it happened. I think this game should be a lot of fun. I think All-Star in Indianapolis will be a lot of fun. I have my tickets for the 3-point shootout and the skills challenge, and I do plan on being there.
The WNBA has never seen anything like this. A second-year player publicly removes a Hall of Fame coach and builds a super team around herself in front of a live national audience. This is more than drama. It's more than entertainment. It's the beginning of a new era. Caitlin Clark isn't just a basketball player. She's a brand, a force, a movement, and she's taking over the WNBA by force with a smile on her face and a flamethrower in her hands. The All-Star game on July 19th, it's no longer just a showcase. It's a battlefield.
Caitlin Clark was supposed to be coached by Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeve. Napheesa Collier was supposed to be coached by New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello. They swapped coaches. Cheryl Reeve, dodged the bullet. Thank God I don't need to coach Caitlin Clark, man. Man, I can't deal with that. I would have had to swallow so much pride, I can't do that. Fee, she probably called in the Fee, talk to Caitlin, please. I can't coach her, I can't do it. This book's about to come out. You know what they're gonna be saying if I'm coaching Caitlin Clark and the book's out? Oh, God. Fee, please. And then Sandy Brondello's like, oh yeah, this is good.
If you loved watching Caitlin Clark take control and flip the script on the WNBA, just wait until the All-Star game. This is the kind of energy that's changing the league, and we're here for all of it. If you want real talk, no filter, and every twist and turn of the WNBA drama, this is your spot. Make sure to hit that like button if you're riding with Clark. Subscribe to Spotlight WNBA so you don't miss a single moment of the movement. This is just the beginning. Clark isn't just making history, she's making headlines. And at Spotlight WNBA, we're bringing you every second of it.